Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening, this is the post-game reaction to the Iowa Hawkeyes 24-3 victory over the Purdue Boilermakers on the road against the team who stole two former Iowa Hawkeyes, maybe not stole, but who has two former Hawkeyes in Tyrone Tracy and Charlie Jones. There was a lot to play for in this game, both for Purdue and for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and some ulterior storylines in this game that not every game necessarily has. For the Iowa Hawkeyes, you had the fact that they had not beaten Purdue at Purdue since 2016. They have struggled mightily against Purdue, especially defensively, which is odd considering how good Iowa's defense is. I already mentioned the fact that Purdue has Charlie Jones and Tyrone Tracy, one more productive than the other in their transfer to the Boilermakers. And Purdue was second in the Big Ten West coming into this matchup. Iowa in the middle of the Big Ten, the kind of jockeying for position spot in the Big Ten overall, but specifically in the Big Ten West. The bottom line is, even if Iowa had not had the start to the season that they have had in this 2022 season, this game would still hold a certain amount of significance to the Iowa Hawkeyes, specifically the defense and Phil Parker. And I got to say, they passed this test with flying colors. I need to decide which facet of this game I dive into first. I think I'm going to dive into the defense first here. By the way, if you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It takes 1.25 seconds. Just the click of a button. At the very least, like, comment, share. You know the drill. Without further ado, let's get into this. This Iowa defense, and I said it going into this season, might be, well, going into the season, I said that this was the most talented defense, top to bottom, that Iowa has had in the Kirk Ferentz era, or one of the most talented, definitely the most talented in the past 10 years. At every single level of this Iowa defense, they are elite, with the elite players on all levels of this defense. They're stacked. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They're loaded. The defensive line is 8, 9, 10 deep, with the top guy being Lucas Van Ness. Logan Lee is very talented. Deontay Craig has started to come on of late. Ethan Herkett. You have the high 4-star Aaron Graves, freshman. It's loaded. You have the fifth-year senior, or fifth or sixth-year senior in, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Joe Evans. The linebacking position, you have Jack Campbell, who is a semifinalist for the Bednark or Birdnark Award. Seth Benson has been having a spectacular season. Jay Higgins is no slouch. Or whoever the Hawkeyes have in place of the injured Justin Jacobs. Sometimes it's Jay Higgins. Sometimes it is, again, blanking on his name. So many names on the Iowa Hawkeyes, but they have two guys who come in and out of the lineup at the linebacker position. In the back end, the DBs, you have Riley Moss, you have Cooper DeJean, you have Keontae Merriweather, and you have some role players who are having very, 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 very productive seasons. They're loaded. And they took this game personally. Purdue attacked Riley Moss early and often. They went after him all game long, so much so that the commentators made reference to it several times. And the Iowa defense answered the test. And you have to ask yourself, when have they not answered the test this season? Sure, Ohio State and Michigan, wasn't, as far as the score goes, as on the surface productive as it would seem. But if you watch the game, you know how good Iowa's defense performed in each of those two games. Then against Purdue, one of the better offenses in the Big Ten, a team that Iowa has struggled against over the past 6 years, they held them to 3 measly points. This defense gets an A+ in this game. They get an A+ without a shadow of a doubt. A+. The defensive line was getting pressure. The DBs were breaking up passes. The linebackers were flying all over the field. The safeties flying all over the field, getting pass deflections, interceptions. It was a great game. The defense gets an A+. Now, moving over to the offense, there's a few things to note here before I give my grade for this offense. Okay. They started slow. The offense did. It looked like they had regressed or reverted back to their old Iowa offensive tendencies, both Petrus and Brian Ferentz. And then they picked it up. They had a very strong second quarter. They had a decent third quarter, with the first and the fourth quarters being mediocre. The bottom line is this offense played average, okay? They played average. The Purdue offense played below average. And I'm okay with that. That's the thing. I'm okay with that. That is what I and many fans have been asking for all season long, is just to be average. That's it. And they were average today. At times, slightly above average. At times, slightly above average, but mostly average. The run game was awesome, which I will flesh out here a little bit more in a second. If I had to give the offense as a whole, the whole game, a grade, it would be a B, a solid B. If I were to give them a letter grade for the second and third quarters, it would be an A-, maybe even an A. But for the whole game, it would be a B. And that's fine. That's all we need. Now, moving forward, and before I get to the running game, Spencer Petrus, he made some really good throws. And again, he was classic Spencer Petrus at other times, missing throws. And the thing is, even with the Northwestern game, I never expected him to turn into this all Big Ten caliber quarterback. He's not, okay? He just isn't. He has certain limitations that hold him back from being that type of quarterback. But at times, he made some really, really great throws, great reads. And at times, he missed some throws. He missed some reads. If I were to give Spencer Petras a grade, it would be a C plus or a B. C plus to a B minus. That would be my grade, C plus to B minus. At times it was a B, even maybe an A minus, but at times it was a C, even a C minus. If we look at his stats, he went 13 of 23, so 10 incompletions, 192 yards, 2 tubs, and 0 INTs, which is honestly probably one of his better stat lines in his whole career. So, but looking at this objectively, I would give him a C plus, B minus. I'd probably lean more towards the B minus. I would give Spencer Petras, if I had to give him a specific grade, it would be a B minus. Now, the run game. This is why Iowa won this game today. Caleb Johnson had 200 yards rushing on 22 carries, 9.1 yards per carry with 1 tub, with a great breakaway touchdown run. Folks, I've said this for the past 3 weeks now, and I'll say it again. He is Iowa's starting running back for the next 3 years, or 2 years after this year, maybe 3 years. It would be 2 years if he decided to leave early and go to the NFL, but it'd be 3 years if he came back for his senior year. Caleb Johnson has the best NFL prototypical body and athleticism at the running back position that Iowa has had in probably the last 10 years. The only other running back that I can think who physically matched what Caleb Johnson has at the running back position would be maybe Tyler Goodson. Not his size, but his athleticism, his overall gifts athletically. Or I would say LaShawn Daniels. And in a lot of ways, Caleb Johnson reminds me of LaShawn Daniels in that he is built like a brick shit house. Excuse my language, shite house. He will be Iowa's starting running back for the next 2 years. And the thing is, I don't feel bad for Gavin or LaShawn Williams because they had their chance and they just don't have the it factor that Caleb Johnson has. It's not that they're bad running backs. They don't have the it factor that Caleb Johnson has. Caleb Johnson has excellent vision. He's built like a brick shite house. He has excellent speed. Did I already mention how good his vision is? And this bodes well for the Iowa Hawkeyes moving forward for the next couple of years. Josiah Patterson, true freshman Josiah Patterson, got in the game. And, I'm kind of curious. I mean, it kind of seems that because I don't think LaShawn Williams was injured. It kind of seems like Iowa has decided to fully commit to Caleb Johnson and start to move on past LaShawn and Gavin, both, as far as the number 2 running back position goes. Josiah got 4 carries today, 3 more than LaShawn. He didn't look great, but, he also didn't look terrible. 4 carries, 4 yards. The running game gets a solid A today. It gets a solid A. All right, guys, wrapping this video up, this post-game reaction up. By the way, if you want to donate to the channel, you absolutely can. Thank you to all of you great Iowa fans who have donated to the channel already and supported your boy and his coffee habit. I really, really do appreciate it. More than I could ever articulate. Iowa is moving in the right direction. They have 2 straight wins on the season. Here are the team stats. And I don't think I think it's Unlikely that they win the Big Ten West, which is unfortunate. But I think they have a chance to finish on a 5-game win streak to end the season, moving towards 8 or 9 wins on the season. And if Iowa can do that, it will be still a successful season. Now, there's still a lot of games to be played, and there's still a lot of room for a loss or a mistake. But if Iowa plays like they did against Purdue on the road, they can win the remainder of their games. And if they do so, this will still be a successful season. That doesn't mean that they do not need to take a good, hard look at the offensive coordinator position, because they still do. And this game does not dispel my belief, in my opinion, on Brian Ferentz. It does not. He's going to have to put together 3 or at least 3 or 4 more games where Iowa is at the very least average offensively for me to change any notion that I have of the offense. Because again, today, even though it was good, it was average. Okay. But I still have to give credit where credit is due and be honest, it was average. It wasn't bad. It was average, which I'm okay with. But I'm not going to change my opinion on the fact that Iowa needs to take a good, hard look at who's calling the plays offensively. But I'm also very open to the fact that Brian can improve, that he can improve. Okay. I'm not closed off to that fact. Here are the rest of the team stats, and then I'll get to who Iowa has left on the schedule. Tory Taylor had an excellent game today as well. 17 first downs for the Iowa Hawkeyes. 74 total plays. Time of possession, 31 minutes to 28 minutes. Purdue led in that fact. Purdue actually had more first downs than Iowa did. Kind of surprises me. But Iowa had 376 yards total offense. Purdue only had 255. Let's look at who Iowa has remaining on the schedule. They have Wisconsin. That is a massive game. Then they have Minnesota, and then they have Nebraska. Okay. At home against Wisconsin, which, so as of this moment, I like the Iowa Hawkeyes. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, the thing is, it's a good win. Iowa moves to 5-4. They put together a second straight decent offensive performance, which is good. The running game looked improved. It did. Okay. Like I said, I have to give credit where credit's due. Iowa's defense, their special teams are elite, even though Drew Stevens did miss a field goal. But, it's hard for me to be too down on that because he is a true freshman and has close to a 90% field goal percentage thus far this season as a true freshman. And the weather was absolutely horrible today. Tory Taylor averaged 51.8 yards per punt. And as I told you, Iowa fans, as long as Iowa has an elite defense and an elite special teams, they will have a chance to win any game. Any game. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Has your opinion changed about Brian Ferentz, Spencer Petras, or the offense at all? I am really curious what you guys think of that. Iowa improves to 5-4. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Takes 1.25 seconds. Like, comment, share. Donate if you want to support your boy and his coffee habit. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts are feelings because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.